Let's do this. Hello, people. Another beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. But what's up, gamers? So, the CMA only spent 4 weeks out of 32 weeks investigating the Activision Blizzard merger. 1/8 of 32 weeks, 4 weeks. And you made a decision, huh? Okay. Well, you got some explanation to do. What's up, Tweaked, huh? What's up, Tech for Gamers? Listen to this. It says here, CMA allegedly only spent 4 weeks out of its 32 weeks investigation on cloud. Says here, Activision legal counsel alleged that the regulators at the Competition and Market Authority (CMA) had only spent 1/8 of its total investigation on cloud. Says here, Activision legal counsel alleged that the UK regulators at the Competition and Market Authority had only spent 4 weeks out of its total 32 weeks investigation on the Microsoft Activision merger, focusing on potential SLC effects in cloud gaming. Says here, Microsoft has filed an appeal with the intent to quash the CMA's decision to block the Microsoft Activision merger. Today, lawyers for Activision, Microsoft, and the CMA met with the Competition Appeal Tribunal Justice Marcus Smith to discuss how to best proceed with the appeal process. While Microsoft full 400-page appeal will not be made public, the tribunal did publish an application summary that condensed the main points. At the hearing, Activision legal counsel delivered the key reasons on why it seeks to intervene in the case. Activision has a stake in the outcome of the merger and can provide relevant information in regards to cloud gaming and the games market as a whole, so it's likely to be able to intervene and add evidence to support Microsoft's case. Says here, during the hearing, Activision lawyer made specific allegation against the CMA's determination of anti-competitive effects that could arise from the merger. The CMA blocked the merger on the grounds that the combination would result in significant lesson of competition, SLC, in the segment of cloud gaming due to Microsoft's potential ability to foreclose or take away and prevent access to Activision Blizzard games to cloud competitors. Says here, the Activision lawyers allege that the Competition and Market Authority independent panel had only spent about 4 weeks focusing on potential SLC in cloud gaming. Then it says here, the vast majority of the time taken by the CMA in a 32 weeks it spent investigating, 28 weeks were devoted to their first concern, and that has been or would be some anti-competitive conduct and result if this merger would be permitted in the respects of the console market. The back end of the 32 weeks dealt with the cloud story. Of course, at the end of the day, contrary to many expectations, they decided that the console side of the story was okay. There was no problem there. And so at the end of the day, the reason why we've lost is because of their view in relation to console story. Says here, one of the aspect of the console bit of the debate was the foreclosure argument that was rejected, and so you have it one at the same time that the conclusion, well, we don't think there's going to be a valid foreclosure argument in relation to the console story, but we do think that there will be foreclosures or a likelihood of the outcome of foreclosures in respect to these competitors not being able to get access to Activision Blizzard games in respect to the cloud. On the face of it, that is a remarkable pair of conclusions. They are dramatically opposite of each other, and one wonders what's the purpose of that would be, and why anybody would behave in that way given that finding the other way that we know about. It is also flatly inconsistently with the decision reached by the European Commission, who take a completely different view on what is meant by the market and whether or not there is any validity in the proposition that there would be foreclosures in relation to cloud streaming. Says here, Activision legal representation goes on to reiterate the billion-dollar publishes position on cloud gaming, which indicates the company had no plan to put its titles on cloud gaming service like Nvidia GeForce Now or Boosteroid, both of which apparently would not directly interfere with game sales. Activision would not have put its games on cloud service. That's our position. That's our case. Activision counsel said during the hearing. Then it says, now if that's right, there is no competition issue, and the CMA decision, which rejects our case on that point, cannot stand. Then it says here, below we have an even greater transcription of what was said in regards to Activision argument against the CMA determination and what opportunities that Activision intervention would offer to competition tribunal. Then it says here, the CMA finding in the counterfactual, we say, is based on evidence, assertion, misinterpretation of the evidence, and pretty stark procedural unfairness. This case presents novel and important points as to a market definition, the approach to remedies, and the procedural unfairness concerning the CMA procedural unfairness. In this appeal, our case will be based on Activision's own document, strategy, and decision-making, and its unique perspective as the global developer and publisher of games, which essentially distinguishes Activision from Microsoft. And then it shows grounds 2, failing to take proper account of 3 long-term commercial agreements. Ground 3, irrational and arrive at in procedurally unfair manner. And then it says here, if we would be permitted to intervene, we would focus principally on the counterfactual ground 3. We would also wish to make some limited points on market definition. We would also like to make comments on abilities and incentives. Ground 4 and remedies, ground 5. And then it says here, as to counterfactual ground 3, this is about Activision would do. This is a question for Activision. We can discuss the relevance of the document relied on by the CMA and the evidence that the CMA failed to take into account on cloud gaming from native gaming. We say that there was no evidence base for the conclusion reached by the CMA, and the decision to counterfactual was irrational. If the relevance of the document had been fairly put, including Activision CEO Mr. Kotick, we can deal with what Activision response would have been. Mr. Kotick had provided a witness statement addressing these points. The witness statement forms part of Microsoft Appeals paperwork. And then it says here, ground 1, respondent make fundamental errors in its assessment of the applicant current position in cloud gaming service. And then A, respondent failed to consider potential switching to native gaming, flawed conclusion, marked in yellow. And it says B, respondent erroneous narrow market definition. And C, made fundamental errors in its calculation and assessment of market share data for cloud gaming service. Says here, we would deal briefly with market definition, which is ground 1, to show that the CMA failed to consider switching between cloud and native gaming on a console, PC, or mobile, and out of market constraints. What is never addressed by the CMA, and is certainly not the subject of any questioning, is the notion that the player might be in a position to switch between cloud streaming and native gaming through the very same piece of hardware. Said here, this concept is very important because it goes to the key question of the market definition, because if in fact you have the capacity to do so, the switching, when the notion that is a separate market becomes a lot more difficult to explain or justify. Activision will be able to explain why cloud gaming, which is nothing more than a delivery mechanism through the cloud. It's just another way of delivering the product to players. That's all. It's a different way of doing it, but it's simply a mechanism of delivery. It is not a separate market. End of article. Let's see how long. Oh, it took me 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Pretty good. Good article, Tweaked Down. Yeah. All right. Let's get down to business here. Look. The CMA got some like I told you guys. Do your research. Right? The CMA got some explanation to do when it comes to this cloud gaming thing. You didn't do a thorough 32-week investigation. You only did 4 weeks out of 32. That's 1/8. And you didn't explain the definition between console gaming and cloud gaming. Let me give you a simpler version. Console gaming is the cake. Cloud gaming is the icing. Okay? You see, the console games is not going anywhere. So you got they have to explain how will Microsoft have an unfair advantage in the market when they're giving out 10-year contracts to to their competitors like Enware, EE, Ubisoft, Boosteroid, Nvidia, and Nintendo. Okay, they have to explain that. So they didn't do a thorough research on this, you know. And this article goes into when it says Activision will be able to explain why cloud gaming, which is not more than just a delivery mechanism through the clouds, is just another way of delivering the products to players. Then you're talking about. Then it says here the concept is very important because it goes to the key question of the market definition. Because if in fact you have the capacity to do switching, then the notion that this is a separate market become a lot more different to explain our justify. Cloud gaming is just the icing on the cake. Console game will always be here, but cloud gaming is just another feature, another way of gamers to play. And you can't, like I said before, you can't say that we don't think that there's nothing gonna happen within the console gaming market, but we're more concerned about cloud gaming. So it's either it's gonna cause harm or it's not. But you really got to now explain how is Microsoft is going to have an unfair advantage in the cloud gaming market when they're giving out 10-year contracts to everybody. They got to explain that. You know, where's the unfairness? You know, they got some explanation to do, man. And they didn't do their research on this. You know, like they were supposed to. You know, they just came to an they just rushed to judgment. They just rushed to judgment in a nutshell. They didn't really do a thorough research on this, like they were supposed to, you know. And now they got to sit on the hot seat, and now they have to explain this, because they're gonna have to explain to the judge. Okay, explain to the tribunal. How is it that Microsoft will have an unfair advantage when they're giving out 10-year contracts to everybody? And cloud gaming is just another feature, so it doesn't stop you from doing console gaming. So, yeah, they got some explanation to do on this, man. And and then you came up with wrong market share analysis of Microsoft position in the cloud gaming market. Not good. You got to explain that. Yeah, the Activision is going to step in and really address this. Explain cloud gaming. You know, Take Two and Valve are spectators, so they will learn some things from this. You know, even though they got experience in the game market, they will. I mean, they could participate if they wanted, but they're spectators. But Tencent and Nvidia supports Microsoft, so Microsoft got support with other countries now. 9 of them now, or 10. So yeah. But the CMA's on the hot seat. But then also too, the FTC now, they're not exempt from the equation because they tried to remove Nintendo out the picture. You can't do that. Nintendo is a part of the game industry, and Nintendo has a big Call of Duty fan base. So yeah. Yeah, the FTC and the CMA got some explanation to do, man. But yeah, you know, the CMA failed to consider switching between cloud and native gaming. That is big. They got to explain that part, you know. The CMA failed to consider switching between cloud and native gaming on a console, PC, or mobile, and out-of-market constraints. Like I told you before, do your research. You know, you can't just rush. You can't rush the judgment. You know, you can't rush, especially if you don't have the especially if you don't understand or know about the about cloud gaming. You gotta be able to explain this. So yeah, you know, you can switch off. Yeah, it will cloud gaming. It will be like switching, going from online to offline. You know, so yeah, that cloud gaming is just another icing on the cake. So yeah, yeah, they need to explain themselves, man. You know, and Microsoft giving 10-year contracts to everybody really helps everybody out. Nobody's left out behind. Microsoft can keep Call of Duty to themselves. You know, it would be just like how they did Minecraft. So yeah, they have some explanation to do, man. Rush to judgment. 4 weeks out of 32. Yeah, they got to they have to sit in front of that tribunal. That tribunal is a body of people, a body of judges, man. That tribunal is a body of people that's sitting there listening to you, and you have to explain that. And you can't go by assumptions or anything. You gotta produce concrete evidence, you know, about this Activision Blizzard merger, you know. Making sure that all your I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and T's are crossed, and Y's are looped. So yeah, they got some explanation to do on this, man. They're on the hot seat, man. So yeah, that tribunal is not going to take no nonsense. And then you throw in the European Commission's decision to pass the deal now. The tribunal is going to look at that and say, okay, if the European Commission says they don't believe that cloud gaming is going to cause any harm, why did you decide to block the deal? And how did you come to this conclusion? Yeah, they got some explanation to do in front of that tribunal. So yeah, the tribunal is going to use what the European going to use the European Commission's decision in this, you know. So yeah, and then now you add Activision with their lawyers to explain, you know, and then you have Nvidia with their lawyers about cloud gaming, and all those cloud service providers now that signed up to the 10-year signed up with Microsoft. They're going to be able to. They're gonna explain some things too. So yeah, yeah, the CMA is on the hot seat, man. So yeah. And they said they thought the CMA thought the European Commission decision was wrong. They got some explanation to do, okay? Because the European Commission is going to defend their decision. That's for sure. They're going to defend their decision, you know. And now we know 4 weeks out of 32. Not looking good for the CMA, man. So yeah. And they have to explain, okay, did you communicate with the FTC? Were you influenced? Were you persuaded into, by the FTC? Well, yeah, everything is coming out, man. So yeah, this is gonna be an endurance game when it's all said and done. You know, this Activision Blizzard deal is an endurance game right now. Oh yeah, so no one can run and hide anymore. You know, the tribunal is like, okay, the European Commission is going to explain why they did this, why they came to this decision. The tribunal is going to look at it. Then they're going to look at the CMA and say, okay, the European Commission don't believe that the deal is going to cause any harm. Why did you come up with this? How did you come to this conclusion that you made? Yeah, lots. They're on the hot seat, man. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna keep you guys posted on this, what's going on with this, man. But yeah, the saga continues. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, little Star Wars and Star Trek fan, or Dark Side. Go. Peace.